plus those things. All right, cool. So we've just had the elections done. They've had the parliament sitting. They are now proposing what's happening. What is the way forward? It seems they've proposed, remember they said the government of national unity. We broke it down. We made that video. Caesar explained it for us. It's not really that. It's a big old coalition. So now they've unveiled this coalition that it is. And the new president, who is Ramaphosa, yes, sir, is wrapping the six. So it's interesting. Yeah. So I got a video here by Dan Corder. You guys know Dan Corder. He makes content. He's actually on the news, actually. He's got a show on ENC, I think. Yeah. So he's going to break down for us this new coalition and our new president. So yeah, Dan Corder is going to take it away first.
Some things may look exactly the same, but honestly, everything has fundamentally changed. Let's get into it. We are recording, and I really do have to tell you what time, at 3 on Friday, the 14th of June, where the National Assembly and provincial legislatures are still being sworn in right now. But there's so much we need to talk about, and we need to tell you about it now, even though not everything is quite done, because there have been a lot of delays. The first thing you need to know is that, according to all reports and confirmations, this country is about to be ruled by a government of national unity, they like to brand it, but it's really a grand coalition of, at its core, the ANC, the Democratic Alliance, I cannot believe I'm saying those two in the same sentence, loving partners, the Inkatha Freedom Party, and it looks like also the Patriotic Alliance, but there's a mess there that we'll get to in a second. They will come out and...
That's crazy. Wow. So Gateson's PA is going to be part of this grand coalition, which is interesting. Yeah, because he's getting for the fans, guys. He's going for the home affairs of China, So it's very interesting. Let's see.
To different degrees, and announced that they are working together nationally and provincially. So we're going to start with national and work our way down, but they are all interconnected. And the one thing that is fundamentally true is that the new president is set to be the same as the old president. Cyril Ramaphosa will be re-elected for another term.
Oh, cupcake. Hey, oh, cupcake. Do you want me? Yeah, guys. You niggas play with our president too much, man. You niggas play with our president too much. Okay, fuck with Ramaphosa, man. Shout out to Ramaphosa.
Supported by the Democratic Alliance. And the ANC, DA, IFP plus smaller parties seems to be the core coalition that's going to try and rule across all the different provinces in South Africa. In a lot of provinces, ANC majorities have already sworn in their new premiers. Some premiers are the same as the old ones, like for example in Eastern Cape. But in many, many other provinces, the ANC has taken its dominance once again. This is the issue with Dan Corder. South Africa is a movie. Welcome to the watch party on the day that South Africa's new government is being created.
Is using AI to help you produce better music cheating, or is it just the future? Let me ask you this.
Let's start at the start, right at the top. President Ramaphosa will be the president, but the ANC and the DA, together with their smaller partners, have now elected a new Speaker of the National Assembly, which is Toko Didiza. She has been...
Okay, new speaker alert. All right.
The ANC stalwart for the longest time. She's been a minister, generally Minister of Agriculture, more recently Agriculture, Land Reform, Rural Development. She was Minister of Public Works for a little while. She's going to be the new National Assembly Speaker, and she is going to be deputized, it seems. Well, we know it's going to be by a DA deputy speaker. It looks like it's going to be Annalilo Treat. She is a DA heavyweight who's been representing the DA from the Free State for many, many, many years. And that pattern of the ANC leading in the top position and the DA following seems to be the pattern that they're going to try and do across a raft of different places. We also just discovered that Panyaza Lesufi will be and is the Premier of Gauteng, deputized by a DA deputy. And what that means is, although it's not confirmed yet because they've not got a deputy president, it could be that that pattern follows international government where we get a deputy president from the Democratic Alliance. Now, I want to be very clear. There are no leaks suggesting that. It's just a lot of people are inferring that from the pattern that we've already seen of an ANC top dog deputized by somebody from the Democratic. It may go differently nationally. It may be that a John Steenhuisen or John Steenhuisen type gets an extremely powerful position in the cabinet and the ministries, but it could also be that John Steenhuisen becomes deputy president of South Africa. Now, of course, that is not necessarily a done deal.
Yeah, they grossed out by that thought. Jono! Niggas don't like Jono, right?
Whatsoever. Look, Paul Mashatile has been the vice president. He's the deputy president of the ANC after Ramaphosa. He is an epically powerful person with an enormous constituency that supports him. And so it's not necessarily the case that he's just going to be comfortably booted to the side or that the ANC even wants a DA vice president. But that is what is the pattern is suggesting based on what we've seen in Gauteng and in the National Assembly. So what else do you need to know? Well, Fikile Mbalula this morning signed a document that lays out how the government of national unity, which really means this grand coalition of ANC, DA, IFP, and a few more, is going to rule. They've drawn up a series of rules on how they are going to govern. So we're not going to find out all of the government positions. We're not going to find out all of the ministerial cabinet positions today necessarily, but we do have these rules that this government of national unity / grand coalition is bound by. And one of the rules is very important. It's in point 19. It says that the government of national unity /
Okay, sufficient consensus exists when all parties have had the opportunity to express their views despite reasonable attempts to resolve disagreements and find common ground. There is no general consensus. Parties to the GNU represent 6% of seats in National Assembly agree. Okay, and party that disagrees has been able to formally record their objections. Okay,
coalition, I'm just going to call it coalition from now on, can only pass anything if they get 60% majority in the National Assembly when it comes to voting on a new piece of legislation or the likes. And what that means is, at 60%, that means both the ANC and the DA have to agree on something for it to go through, supported by either, right? Because the ANC got 40%, the DA got 21, and so they together make 60%. What this rules out is the potential of, say, the ANC wanting to do it, something, the DA being against it, and the ANC cobbling together 10% support from other parties besides the DA to pass a law or a piece of legislation or a bill in the National Assembly without the Democratic Alliance. According to this agreement for this GNU, this Government of National Unity, that cannot happen. And that's really interesting when you think about the implications for policy, because we know that the ANC and DA fundamentally disagree on so many things. BEE, social grants, land reform, it goes on and on and on. And what this seems to be suggesting is they need to fundamentally agree on something together before passing a bill that changes a policy. And so what this outcome could mean is no movement where they disagree on the current policies on minimum wage, BEE, land reform, and the rest. That could be social grants. It could just be that this Government of National Unity is essentially going to fix our policies as a country in place while the ANC and the DA co-govern, because the ANC definitely doesn't want to change its policies in the DA way. They will hemorrhage voters if they do that. And the DA definitely doesn't want to change their policy positions to an ANC position because they will also hemorrhage voters. In particular, the ANC has already been labeled sellouts by a lot of their supporters, and that is something they're going to want to try and not strengthen that argument. And that argument would be strengthened if it looked like the ANC was just throwing away all of its historic policy positions in favor of the DAs.
Okay. Makes sense. Them niggas need 60% now. So it's not the same old, it's going to be interesting. That's good. I like that.
There's one more province that we need to talk about that is up for grabs. You would have known, particularly if you've been watching our TikToks, that KZN is hung like this. Very inappropriate joke there that I'm avoiding saying, but it is hung KZN. There are 80 seats in KwaZulu-Natal to rule in KZN. MK got 37. EFF got 2. So that's
KwaZulu-Natal results. Whoa. Okay. So ANC, obviously. So MK got 45% in KZN. That's crazy.
39, just short of half, and then you need 41 to rule, 41 seats to rule in KZN when there are 80 seats. IFP, ANC, and DA together got 40, right?
Bust, I told that baby go. Bust.